Welcome back to Live from Studio 5. Jim Van Horn along with Joeita Gupta. And that song is called Grifting by Timber Tambra. New music and a new piece of technology to keep on your radar is Aira, a pair of high-tech glasses designed for interpreting visuals to people who are blind or low vision. Joining us now by phone from Jacksonville is father-son duo Pete and Patrick Lane. Pete is an Aira user and Patrick is an Aira agent. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thanks so much.
It's great to have both of you. Pete, let's start with you. So can you tell us a little bit about this technology and what went into its development?
Absolutely. Aira, which is spelled A-I-R-A, is a pair of smart glasses which has a camera on board, a video camera, and the user connects via their smartphone, either an iOS device, iPhone, or Android device, to a live trained agent. It's an absolutely intuitive experience, and the agent can then see through their video camera and guide the blind user through whatever task they choose, anything and everything.
Patrick, where would the limited sight or a blind user find the most use of this piece of equipment?
You know, we don't really have a typical use for it because our users are so creative with our service. They already have ideas of what they're going to use us for before they even sign up for our service. So we do, everyday typical tasks around the house. We help people cook their dinner, start their coffee, get their thermostat set. And on top of that, we have done really amazing things that people go out there and take us exploring. We've gone to Arlington National Cemetery. We've gone to Disney World and gone through multiple parks. We help people travel through airports, find seats on airplanes. Basically, if our users can think of it, then we are there to help them with it. We're usually very, very successful in a lot of the stuff that we do, and we usually make the experience much more efficient and much more enjoyable for our users. Even when they've completed that task hundreds of times in the past, they get a much more freeing experience when doing that same task with Aira.
So I remember reading an article about how someone had used a pair of glasses like this because they were visually impaired but wanted to run a marathon. I suppose, Pete, that is one of the things you could consider doing if you were so inclined you could run a marathon even, and the person could describe what was up ahead of you.
That is certainly something that somebody could consider doing, not myself personally, but I do use it in my neighborhood and around town. I'm retired now and I'm not ready to run a marathon, but I do use it to walk. Normally, my wife and I walk each morning and do anywhere from 2 to 4 miles. And if she's not available, then I can just jaunt out of the house, put the Aira glasses on, and contact the agent. And that agent might be Patrick, my son, who I referred to the Aira position. He obtained an agent position when I had interviewed the CEO of Aira on my podcast, Blind Abilities, back in July of 2016.
Patrick, how are sales going?
We are growing exponentially, I can say. When I first started, it was definitely a small startup company. At this point, we are at multiple hundreds of users. We are at 50 to 60 agents. By the end of the year, we're going to be at thousands of users and hundreds of agents. So our company is really taking off. We're really changing a lot of lives, and we are really doing that because of our users. The word of mouth advertisement that we get from them, it's invaluable. They tell all of their friends about it. And we have a referral program that allows them to send us potential users. And when they sign up, they both receive a free month from our service. So we have users at this point that have probably a year and a half of free service coming up because of all of their friends that they referred.
And I want to follow up on this user experience. So there's a lot of people who like it and are recommending it to their friends. That's always a positive sign. But there's a lot out there to help somebody who's blind or partially sighted get around. I'm thinking about the white cane or a guide dog or a lot of GPS and navigation software. How would you see Aira working in conjunction with some of these existing techniques? Pete, I'm going to ask you.
Absolutely. Actually, the Aira glass is a supplement to each of those three items that you mentioned. Blind users are taught to navigate with their cane and or their guide dog, and that is their primary tool. So when someone uses a virtual assistant such as Aira or some of these other pieces of technology, it should always be in accompaniment with that main primary navigational tool. Don't ever rely on Aira or any of these other navigational technologies as your sole and primary navigational tool.
Where does the name Aira come from, especially the spelling? Because, I mean, I can understand the I, and Aira, but the spelling is different. AIRA. Where does that come from?
Absolutely. The AI is a representation of the artificial intelligence that we are using in our service, and we are actually rolling out much more artificial intelligence in that service to work along with an actual live agent, which we will never get rid of. We have a human agent that is highly trained, very, very happy with their job, and very dedicated to it. And that's where we're different from a lot of this other technology out there. The agent is able to work alongside the user, which we call an explorer, to complete a task, and they're able to be intuitive about what that user needs. They're also able to adapt to any situation that might occur during whatever task they're completing at the time. And it's not just artificial intelligence, but with that artificial intelligence, combined with the human aspect, we are able to accomplish and provide all the information our users need. On top of that, the Eye of Ra is what is represented there as well.
Oh.
Ra being the Egyptian sun god. There's a couple of things in
The
that
all-seeing
spelling
Egyptian
and the sound
sun
of that.
god.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the service does not come, there is a cost associated with the service. So what is included in a typical package? And is the package available here in Canada? Pete, I'm going to ask you.
Well, I'll defer on the packages to Patrick to be current on the price packages. But as far as Aira's availability for Canadians, they're absolutely exploring their global application. And they expect that they will be in Canada and elsewhere around the world sometime not too far in the distant future. But at this point, we do not have an anticipated effective date on that. But anyone who's interested in Canada or elsewhere should go to the website and sign up, and that way they ensure that they've got a spot in the line, so to speak. So when it is rolled out into Canada, they'll be a little bit closer.
The packages that we do offer, we have multiple packages. It is a subscription type of a plan, just like you would get for any phone plan. But the cool thing about us is that there is absolutely no contract for us. There is absolutely no hidden fees. So when you see our plan starting at $89 a month, it is $89 a month, and you can cancel and you can upgrade our plans at any time. And all of our plan and information is available on our website at aira.io. And included in those plans is every device that you will need. So you do not pay for the devices. If you do cancel your plan, you send the devices back. And those devices right here in the U.S. currently are our Aira smart glasses, which is what provides that video feed for our agents. On top of that, we also give out the unlimited data through an AT&T Wi-Fi hotspot, and AT&T is our biggest partner.
If you were to give an individual a specific directive in regards to the usage of this device, Patrick, what would it be? Is there anything that's key to the success of the use of this device?
Yeah, absolutely. So understanding what it is our agents can and cannot do for our explorers is very key. We can absolutely provide information, but we are absolutely not a replacement for an assistive tool or a mobility aid. We are not going to ever replace a cane or a dog, but with the information that we give to specific users of canes and dogs, that information is different, and those users require different information. We're able to provide very specific, exact information to allow them to use their already established orientation and mobility and traveling skills to successfully complete these tasks that they are asking of us.
Previously in the interview, you mentioned there's really no limit to the things that we can help you accomplish as a user, and whatever you want to do, we can try to facilitate that for you. So to what extent is it possible to personalize the service? Like, would you set it up so that a user might be paired up with a particular describer on a day-to-day basis, on a semi-regular basis? Pete, what has your experience been like?
My experience is that any of the agents are sufficiently trained. They're absolutely sufficiently trained, I might add. They have intensive training, including communication skills, the skill of articulating and describing the environment and everything that the user needs. And at this point, no, there is not a provision where you can go to a dedicated agent. But there are specialized skills. Each and every agent has specialized skills. For instance, Patrick, my son, is a golfer, a proficient golfer. So it may be that we see down the road that someone might say, hey, I'm going to go out and play 18 holes on Sunday. Can I arrange for somebody like Patrick to accompany me? Or perhaps a guitar lesson, because Patrick is one hot shredder on his guitar. And he can teach. He has literally taught somebody guitar lessons via the use of the smart glass, Aira.
What is the most important aspect of Aira for you, Pete? What does it give you?
It gives me a sense of liberty. Now, I'm in an unusual situation, and we talked about personalizing the service or the experience. I am married. I have a sighted wife who provides all kinds of help for me. And I don't need everything like cooking and a lot of the household tasks. Not that I don't wash dishes myself, but I don't need the same type of help that perhaps a single individual living alone with no vision might need. So my type of help is reading some individualized mail, some business cards that I picked up at a blinded veterans convention yesterday, reading things on my computer screen, and as I said, going out and taking a walk around the neighborhood or heading downtown and checking out some business contacts for my podcast, Blind Abilities.
If I could expand on that to what creates this service and makes it feel personal to our users, is the fact that every user gets to set up a personal profile. So when that user or explorer, like I said, was what we call them, calls into an agent, that agent has access to the visual description that they prefer, that being lots of description for some of our users that had sight previously that still want to know about all the colors and all of the great scenery that they're passing, or too little description to our users that just want to efficiently navigate from point A to point B very quickly. We also have the ability to provide that description in a way that they prefer. So directional description, if they prefer clock face orientation, or left and right, or cardinal directions, or angles, we're able to know all of this information right from the start to make sure that as we grow as a company, every user is still completely taken care of in a way that they prefer. And that provides that personal experience to all of them.
And just to follow up on that, Patrick, I think a big part of this that we haven't maybe spent as much time on is the role of the agent. Can you tell us what criteria goes into selection of agents and what kind of training an agent might have to undergo?
Absolutely. We have a pretty extensive screening process. So we have the interested agents, potential agents, can go onto our website, aira.io/careers, and they can apply to be an agent. After we get their application, their resume, they actually take a screening process. And that's map reading skills, orientation skills. They have to pass with a certain percentage before they're even considered for an interview. And then we do interview them. During the interview process, we still are deciding whether or not they're the right person for that job. And actually, during the interview process, we completely put them on the spot and allow them to agent for the person giving the interview, which is an analyst, which I am currently an agent analyst. So as we're hiring, we allow them to test what it's like to be an agent, see if that's right for them. And then they go through a very extensive training process. I won't dive into every step because it'll take a long time, but it includes working directly with our technology, knowing the ins and outs of it, knowing how to describe, how to provide efficient descriptions to everything that the user might need. And on top of that, working with our blind or visually impaired staff members to make sure that they have experience working with somebody who is basically a user of ours. They go through quite a bit, and they have to pass the training process as well. So if they're not cutting it, then we do not allow them to take calls from our users.
If I could quickly interject, if Patrick might give you a quick synopsis of his dashboard, his computer dashboard that agents use, that might give you an idea of the computer skills that he was referring to.
Oh, absolutely. The basics of it is we get a video feed to see what the user is looking at, and we have their exact location on a GPS map of ours, a Google Maps. So our agents have to be very proficient in map reading and navigation and visual description. So we're able to see live feed, a live GPS, and then all of this other great technology we have integrated into our dashboard allows us to provide all of that extra information that a user might ask for on the spot.
Gentlemen, this is fascinating. We really appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Pete and Patrick Lane from Aira. And if you want more information, gentlemen, first of all, have a great day. Thank you for joining us. It's very informative.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it, Venk. Thanks very much.
All right. For more information on Aira, visit aira.io. That's AIRA.io. And get all the information you need. It's not yet available in Canada, but hopefully it will be coming soon. Coming up, we're going to be talking to Don Dickinson, the Guardian show producer, who will preview some of the articles on this weekend show. This is live from Studio 5 with Jim Van Horn and Joeita Gupta. We'll get to Don in just a second. But if you're not familiar with Pete's podcast, Blind Abilities, you should be. Jeff Thompson, along with AMI's own Nick D'Ambrosio, formed the podcast team, and they offer more than 250 podcasts on blindness topics via their free iOS app, Blind Abilities. I invite you to check it out. It's a very interesting site.